Hey there, and welcome to Alphagal Home Cook, where I share simple, delicious recipes that everybody can enjoy. The beauty of it is they are all Alphagal free, made with simple everyday ingredients, and they won't break the bank. I'm DJ, and today what we're going to be making is a Greek sheet pan chicken. Stick around. Okay, let's talk ingredients. They are simple ingredients, and the work that you have to do to put them all together is very minimal. We're going to spend about 5 to 10 minutes getting things ready, seasoning them in a bowl. Then we're going to put them on a sheet pan and put them in the oven and let the oven do the rest of the work. Should be very simple. We will be using a zucchini. This is a fairly large zucchini, and a nice sized yellow squash, a red onion. It doesn't matter really the size. This is the only red onion that I have in the house right now, but it can be large, small, whatever you prefer, whatever you have on hand. I also chose an orange pepper. You can use any type of bell pepper or no pepper at all, but I really like the contrast that the orange gives with the rest of the colors in the dish, and the more colorful, the more beautiful. So I also will be using some of these sweet cherry tomatoes in the dish. Other ingredients that we'll be using will be olives. You can use any type of green olive that you have on hand or that you prefer. I like these olives in particular because they have a very mild flavor, and they're not extremely salty either. So I'm going to use these, and I am also going to use some of these Kalamata olives. Any brand, don't even care about the brand, but some pitted Kalamata olives as well. Very Greek. Something that is definitely optional is sun-dried tomatoes. I usually have sun-dried tomatoes in the house. I know not everybody does, but I like to add these in. They give a little bit of a sweetness. I don't use very much of them, maybe about a tablespoon or so chopped up in the whole dish, but they add a little bit of a sweetness to contrast the other flavors, and I really like that. So these are all of the ingredients that we'll be using. The olives, I'm going to be using some sun-dried tomatoes, which are definitely optional, and then the produce here. The seasonings that we'll be using are salt, pepper, and olive oil. We'll also be using a little bit of paprika and some Italian seasoning, and that is it. And for our chicken, I just bought skinless, boneless chicken thighs. I have about a pound here, and that's what I will be using. Before we get started chopping the vegetables, turn your oven on to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, 400 degrees. By the time we've got the vegetables all chopped up, it should be warmed up and ready to go. We're going to chop everything in rather large pieces. They will cook down a little bit while they're in the oven. I'll be adding about a half a cup each of the green olives and the Kalamata olives. I'm adding those whole. There's really no reason to cut them up. And then I'm going to do about a tablespoon of sun-dried tomatoes chopped up. And I'm chopping these up last because they are a little bit on the oily side. We don't want to get my cutting board a little messy. All right, so let's chop these up. Here are our beautiful vegetables. I'm going to use about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. This goes a long way, so the olive oil will be, you know, those calories will be spread out throughout the dish. We're going to add a teaspoon of Italian seasonings. You can definitely add more if you would like to. I'm going to add about 1/4 teaspoon of pepper and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Give this a good stir. Get everything coated. It smells really good. Just the combination. So I can smell the sun-dried tomatoes, the Italian seasonings, the herbs. It smells really good. Okay. All right. Next. Okay. I have my pan lined with foil. You can also use parchment paper. Parchment paper is actually really nice to use because you don't need any oil to keep the food from sticking. I'm going to oil it just a little bit with some olive oil to help with the sticking. You'll see I'm not using an awful lot. I've rinsed and patted dry the chicken, and I'm going to get that onto the pan before I add the vegetables. There's not really a right time to do this. You can do it after you add the vegetables and then just nuzzle it into them. But this is my preferred method. These chicken thighs are so tiny. You can also do this with bone in, and I have done it that way. For the chicken, we are going to add a little bit of seasoning. We're going to sprinkle it with pepper. No need to measure this, just do what you feel is right. Cook with your heart. We're gonna sprinkle it with a tiny bit of salt. Again, no measurements, just cook with your heart. And we are going to add a little bit of Italian seasoning to the tops of those, because it will make them very pretty. We don't need a lot, but I think that it will, you'll see it adds a little bit. If you don't have things on top of the chicken will look very dull compared to the rest of your recipe. All right, I'm gonna use a little bit of paprika. For some reason, my paprika is missing its top. That some reason is probably me. So I'm going to get some in my hand and just use pinches. So we're gonna put a little bit of smoked paprika on the tops. It's not smoked, I'm sorry. We're gonna put a little bit of paprika on the tops of them. We'll add some nice color in the end and gives it a good flavor. Now we are ready for the final step. We're going to add our veggie mix all around the chicken. That's it. That's everything you need to do before you put it in the oven. We're going to put it in the oven for 30 minutes at 400 degrees and then check on it and see how it's doing. It should be done in about 30 minutes because the boneless chicken thighs will cook pretty quickly, and hopefully we'll see some roasting on our vegetables. I cooked this pan of Greek chicken for 30 minutes in my oven, and I think that if you double the amount of chicken, so I made this for 2 people, so I only used enough chicken for my husband and I for 1 dinner and for a lunch for me. And if you were going to make this for 4 or 5 people, you would want to use more chicken, obviously. I also mentioned that you could use bone-in chicken, which I have done in the past and is also really, really good. But for both of those instances, you probably want to increase your cooking time and potentially use more than 1 sheet pan because of the volume of the vegetables and wanting everything to cook thoroughly. during the time that the chicken actually cooks. These are the vegetables that I have left. Last night, my husband ate 3 of the chicken thighs and I ate 2. And then I am going to have 1 of the chicken thighs for lunch. I also have the leftover vegetables, which I am going to use in a completely different dish. So stay tuned. Today I made quinoa. This is 1 cup of dry quinoa, and you can see that it makes quite a bit of quinoa. What I'm going to do is just mix the leftover vegetables from yesterday into this quinoa and make a quinoa salad. This is also something that you could do rather than plating it with rice like I did. You could easily serve the chicken with this as the side, right? And it would be delicious. Look, absolutely beautiful. And I'm sure there are other things that you can do with the leftovers. I sometimes use the leftover vegetables in a pasta sauce, and it gives the pasta sauce a completely different flavor than your general vegetable mix that's more of an Italian flavor. Super delicious. And the veggies are fantastic just as a side to another dish. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you try the recipe, please let me know how you like it and if you made any modifications to it to suit your tastes or your family's tastes. And thank you for joining me today. If you did enjoy the video, please give it a big thumbs up, comment down below, and join me for the next one. Have a great day.